Join us for a review exterior interior of the BMW M2 CS. Let's go. So in the front, of course, some parts are the same as we know from the BMW M2 or especially the BMW M2 competition. Then above that comes the BMW M2 CS. And you can see here the black vertical fins in the double kidney, also black frame around. Then this carbon front spoiler, this is special then, definitely really massive. And also an additional element here on the hood. So it is indeed open, not just a design element. And here we also have those adaptive LED lights. It's 4 meters 46 or 176 inches, the length here of the BMW M2. That's of course not different here with the M2 CS. Here you can see 19-inch wheels mounted in a special golden color. That's, pretty much screaming out to this, very strong blue color. We could also call Thomas Blue, because one of my favorite ones. However, you don't have to go for this one with the M2 CS, so you can also get, a bright wheel or a black wheel, whatever you prefer. Then there's an M2 badge here at the side, carbon fiber mirrors, and you can see here they are also aerodynamically optimized, and stronger side spoiler right there in this typical coupe shape, black frames around the window, and here in this case we also have then the carbon fiber roof. In the rear you also have this carbon fiber spoiler right there. Another carbon fiber element above the exhaust and 4 exhaust pipes, and those are really real. No fake exhaust here whatsoever, of course. We also have a rear differential lock here that comes standard with the M2 CS as well. And they put the adaptive sport suspension that is featured from the BMW M4 in this car to give you someone, still a span between comfort and sportiness. So under the hood we have typical for the M2, the inline 6-cylinder, 3-liter of displacement, turbocharged, and in this case 450 horsepower. That means 40 horsepower more than with the M2 competition. Pretty interesting. It won't change so much for the acceleration figure, but still, more horsepower. Then you have this carbon fiber, strengthening element, so to increase the stiffness of the chassis even more here in the front part. Well, but you pay about 33,000 euros or dollars more for this model if you compare it to the M2 competition. Yeah, if that's worth all the upgrades, that's on another sheet of paper, definitely. Just have to think about it. So this one here, then 95,000 euros, for example, being in Germany, so close to 100K. Yeah, that's really expensive for a 2 Series, but it's also the top of the line model, definitely. Well, so what do you think about that, guys? By the way, the top speed is 280 kilometers an hour or 174 miles per hour. Yeah, about that. Door closing sound. That's actually pretty solid for a 2-door coupe. Pretty nice. Then the interior here is, let's say, not exactly hard pack, but a little soft, but not very soft, so something in between. Then we have a lot of Alcantara insert, for example, here at the inside of the doors. Then a lot of carbon fiber is used here, for example, already at the door handle. M2 CS entry badge for that. Then my most favorite feature is this Alcantara steering wheel, so microfiber surface, really good for sporty driving, and it's also entirely round. I prefer that to the asynchronous steering wheels the BMW M sometimes does offer. And that's the most important thing, manual gearbox, way to go. You do not have to go for it. You can also get a dual clutch transmission if you want that, DCT, just as same as for the rest of the M2 line, but here you can also stay with the manual gearbox. Pretty cool for purist car fans. And then those seats, those are special sport seats with more shoulder support. In this case here also with the animal skin spec, which is of course not sustainable and also not that sporty. They should have used also the Alcantara seats then in the middle to make the sporty touch really, how it's meant to be. But let me take a seat right here. So Holger steps a little bit back. And the thing is, this old platform does not offer too much room. But still in the front, you know, you get along quite well. I'm 1m86 or 6'1". If I have the seat in the lowest position, there's still some head clearance left there. Then the steering wheel can be also adjusted up and down and also towards you and back in again. And we have the cockpit overview for you right there. This is interesting here, CS, microfiber cover. This is pretty cool, but not sure why they're not using that more often also on normal models. This one here is slightly soft pack. It's also not really soft, but also not super hard. Again, something in between. Steering wheel, by the way, here, right side for the volume control. And the left side is then for the cruise control settings right there. And instruments will be rather classic. You know, they look dark at the moment. They will just be illuminated from the back. And so they look digital, but they're actually not. So it's like a mix of analog and digital, so to say. Seat belts, by the way, also with the M colors. That's pretty neat right there. And yeah, it wouldn't be a complete Autogefühl review if I wouldn't try to get in the back, although the car's not really meant to do that, you know, that way. See here, you can slide them forward a little bit, like this, electrically. So that's actually a quite easy entry then. Of course, it's, you know, rather a dark hole. And my tailor won't like that. By the way, here, the seat. Seen that one? Here, those holes in the seat. This is, again, a lightweight sport seats right there, to get the weight down just a little bit. And I could actually still drive now in the front, so that would work. And I mean, it's not super comfortable back in here. It's still okay, but knee room wise, it does work, also headroom wise. And a short look here at the trunk, because you might also want to go to the groceries and, you know, race your supermarket parking lot. And there we are. So normal again for the 2 Series. You can also unleash the rear seats right there if you want to load through some things. Of course, you're a little bit limited, and also the loading still is quite high. Yeah, it's not the most practical car, but the raciest car they have. And now to the conclusion for the day with the BMW M2 CS. Yeah, of course, it doesn't make sense to go for this upgrade price-wise. If you consider, you know, the horsepower upgrade you get, you'll be just fine with the normal BMW M2, and of course also with the BMW M2 competition. So yeah, this is just, you know, top of the line if you don't care about the money, if you want the sportiest M2 there is, without going to the real racetrack car. So this one here, of course, you can still get the license plate for. That's probably the most important thing then here. Do you like that approach? And would you actually go for the extra money? Yeah, I mean, just a few guys will be able to afford that here for a 2 Series BMW. What's actually true, and then, you know, I agree to the product manager there, that this one here, the compact car, is really rather the core of the BMW M brand, because the big cars, they're just too heavy to be, you know, in this very sporty heritage from BMW. And, you know, the legendary cars were not necessarily the most, the biggest ones and so on, and the one with most horsepower, but rather the ones that were really sporty because they were the most compact ones. So pretty interesting. Design-wise, I mean, it still works somehow also for the street. Of course, it looks a little bit aftermarket-ish if you compare it to the normal M2, yes. So the normal M2 would be a little bit more subtle, more elegant, but that's up to you what you prefer. This one here, as I said, still on the old platform, and as far as my information goes, even if they didn't want to admit that here yet, that the all-new generation will still have the rear-wheel drive, because they will still feature it on the 3 Series platform, then on the new 3 Series platform, whereas the Grand Coupe of a 2 Series is featured on the 1 Series platform, then also with the front-wheel drive. So this will still be the differentiation. So what do you think? Give us your feedback, and also tune in to other 2 Series reviews of us. We also have the new 2 Series Grand Coupe as 235i. Not driven yet, but maybe if you watch this video at the later stage, then we will have driven it. So also follow us to stay updated here with new videos, also for the BMW M cars here at Autogefühl.